Welcome to Section 2 of the tutorial for creating an interactive Excel dashboard. In this section, we will be creating the Calculation Distribution Channel worksheet. Open the Excel file that you saved at the end of Section 1. Remember that these 6 sections need to be completed in order. This section has 5 steps. We will be working on the calculation worksheet for the distribution channels. We will be formatting the distribution channel pivot table and inserting a slicer. We will be creating data for the chart. We will be creating and formatting. We will create a pivot table of the top 5 products by contribution margin ratio. Finally, we will be creating text for the dashboard. Click on the pivot table in the Calculation Dist Channel worksheet that you created in Section 1. On the Design tab, click on Report Layout. In the drop-down box, click Show in Tabular Form. Click on the pivot table. On the Design tab, click on Grand Totals. In the drop-down box, click on Off for Rows and Columns. Click on the pivot table. On the Pivot Table Analyze tab, click on Insert Slicer. In the drop-down box, click on Distribution Channel. Click OK. Drag the slicer's bottom frame up to hide the Web Space Site button. Now we have created the slicer we will need in a later step. Now we need to create the data we will be using in a chart. Type Year in cell C5 and Current in cell C6. Type Data Table by Product for Chart in cell I2. List the 12 different products in cells I4 through I15. Be sure to list them in alphabetic order exactly as I have them here. Type CM in cell J3, Max in cell K3, and Average in cell L3. Now click in cell J4. Go to the formula bar and type equal, sum ifs, left parenthesis. You will see the formula being built in the cell J4 as well as where you are typing in the formula bar. Navigate to the Transactions worksheet and click in cell N2. Then hit Command plus Shift plus arrow down. Next, add a comma to the end of your formula. Now click in cell B2 of the Data worksheet and hit Command plus Shift plus arrow down. Add another comma to the end of your formula. Navigate back to the Calculation Dist Channel worksheet and click on cell C6. Hit F4 to make it absolute, meaning that you are fixing the location of that cell, that it will not change when you copy the formula to another cell. Add another comma to the end of your formula. Navigate back to the Data worksheet and click in cell I2. Hit Command plus Shift plus arrow down. Add another comma to the end of your formula. Navigate back to the Calculation Dist Channel worksheet and click in cell B6. Hit F4. Add another comma to the end of your formula. Navigate back to the Data worksheet and click in cell G2. Then hit Command plus Shift plus arrow down. Add another comma to the end of your formula. Finally, navigate back to the Calculation Dist Channel worksheet and click in cell I4. Add a $sign before the cell reference. Then hit Enter. Here is that formula enlarged so that you can see it better. It is also in the notes to the PDF of these slides. That formula is pretty long and complex. You can copy and paste the formula from the student case handout into cell J4 in this worksheet. For this copy and paste process to work, you need to have used exactly the same cell addresses and names for everything in this tutorial. Also, to paste the formula into the cell, you need to click in cell J4 and then click in the formula bar and paste the formula into the formula bar itself rather than the cell directly. Once you have that formula in cell J4, double-click the small box in the corner of cell J4 to copy the formula to the rest of the column. Enter the formula for the max column in cell K4, pointing and clicking on cell references as you go. You are using the functions if and max. This time, all the cell references are in the calculation disk channel worksheet. You are telling Excel if cell J4 contains the max value of the range J4 through J15, then display that number in this cell, otherwise display nothing. There are dollar signs around the cell addresses to fix those cell references in place when you copy the formula down to the other cells. Here is that formula enlarged so that you can see it better. The formula is in the PDF of the slides for this video. Again, that formula is pretty long. You can copy and paste the formula from the student case handout into cell K4 in this worksheet. Remember, to paste the formula into this cell, you need to click in cell K4 and then click in the formula bar and paste the formula into the formula bar itself rather than the cell directly. Next, double-click the small box in the corner of cell K4 to copy the formula to the rest of the column. Notice that the formula only returns a number in one of the rows because there is only one maximum. Enter the formula for the average column in cell L4, equal average, left parenthesis, $J, $4, colon, $J, $15, right parenthesis, and copy that formula down to the rest of the column. Again, those dollar signs fix the cell locations in the reference so that they do not change when you copy the formula to other cells. Now we are going to format the numbers so they are easier to read. Select cells J4 through L15 and right-click. In the drop-down menu, click Format Cells. In the Format Cells dialog box, click on Accounting Number Format. Use the arrows to reduce decimal places to 0. The accounting number format puts a dollar sign at the far left of the cell and inserts a comma as the thousand separator. It also inserts 2 decimal places, but we will be using 0 decimal places here. Now we are going to be creating and formatting a chart of the data. Select cells I3 through L15. On the Insert tab, click the bar chart icon. In the drop-down menu, choose the clustered column chart. To make the chart easier to read, we want to remove the title, grid lines, series, and legend. Click on those unwanted elements of the chart and hit the delete key on your keyboard to make them disappear. Now we are going to be making the chart even easier to read by making an average line that runs through the bar chart. Right-click on any column in your chart. In the drop-down box, click on Change Chart Type. In the next drop-down box, click on Line. In the Line drop-down box, click on the first line type chart. Right-click on the average line in your chart. In the drop-down box, click on Format Data Series. In the Format Data Series dialog box, change width to 0.7 point. Next, click on Dash Type. In the drop-down box, choose the square dot dash type. Right-click on any column in your chart. In the drop-down box, click on Format Data Series. In the Format Data Series box, set Series Overlap and Gap Width to 100%. Right-click on any column in your chart. In the drop-down box, click on Add Data Labels. Your chart is complete. Now we are going to make a pivot table to show the top 5 products. Click on the pivot table. On the Pivot Table Analyze tab, click on Select. In the drop-down box, click on Entire Pivot Table. Select the pivot table and hit Command+C to copy. Click in cell B23 and hit Command-V to paste the pivot table. We are creating copies of the pivot table we originally created because copies of pivot tables in a workbook take much less Excel resources than to create entirely new pivot tables. In the new copy of the pivot table, drag Distribution Channel out of the Rows box. Drag Product into the Rows box. Drag Year into the Filters box. On the Pivot Table Analyze tab, click on Fields, Items, and Sets. In the drop-down box, click on Calculated Field. In the Insert Calculated Field dialog box, name the calculated field CM ratio. In the formula box, use the formula equal contribution margin divided by sales revenue. Use the Fields box to click on the fields instead of typing them in. Click OK. What you just did is create a calculated field. The new field, CM ratio, will appear in the Values box. On your pivot table, select the CM ratio data and right-click. In the drop-down box, click Number Format. In the dialog box, click on Percentage. Then use the arrows to choose 2 decimal places. Click OK. Click the filter icon to set the year filter to Current. Click on the product heading. Then in the formula box, delete the heading and add 1 blank space. You are adding the blank space to the heading because Excel does not allow for blank headings, so a space in a heading allows us to enter a non-blank heading that looks blank. Hit Enter. Again, using the formula box, change the heading that reads Sum of CM Ratio to instead read CM Ratio - Current Year. Right-click in cell C24. In the drop-down box, click Sort, then click Sort Largest to Smallest. Now for the next step, creating dynamic text strings. These are headings for the data that change the words in the headings when the slicer buttons are clicked. In cell B10, type formula equals sum J4 to J15. You can click on cell J4 and drag your mouse down to cell J15 instead of typing the formula again. Then hit Enter. In cell C10, type the formula that I have listed on the screen exactly like I have listed. Again, you can click on cell B6 instead of typing it in. Here is the formula enlarged so that you can see it better. You can also find it in the notes of the PDF slides for this video. And that formula is pretty long like other ones. You can copy and paste the formula from the student case handout into cell C10 in this worksheet. Also, to paste the formula into this cell, you need to click in cell C10 and then click in the formula bar and paste the formula into the formula bar itself rather than the cell directly. For the next 2 formulas, we will need the arrow symbol. Click in cell C16. On the Insert tab, click on Symbol. In the Symbols dialog box, under Technical Symbols, click on the right pointing arrow. In cell C11, type the formula as I have it listed on the screen. It's also in the notes for the PDF slides for this video. Now we are going to add an arrow sign to the heading you created. Click in cell C16 where you pasted the arrow symbol. Go to the formula bar, select the arrow symbol, and hit Command-C. Click in cell C11, go to the formula bar, put your cursor before the word "the," and hit Command+V and then Enter. Here is the formula enlarged so that you can see it better. This is the complete formula, including that arrow at the beginning. So now you should have the formula in cell C11. If you do not, you can copy the formula from the complex formula section of the student case handout. Remember that you need to click in the cell and then click in the formula bar and paste the formula into the formula bar rather than the cell itself. Again, we are referring to cell C11. To copy the formula in cell C11, click on the cell and then hit Command-C. Next, click in cell C12 and hit Command-V. We are copying the formula here so that we can change it from most to least next. Working in the formula box, change the copied formula in cell C12 to least rather than most. Also change the max function to the min function. Change B7 to B6 Also change J5 to J4 and I5 to I4. Change J16 to J15 and I16 to I15. So basically, we're starting with the formula we built, we made a copy of it, and now we're editing it to make it reflect the least. Here is the formula as it ends up enlarged so that you can see it better. It is also in the PDF of the notes to these slides. That's another long formula. You can copy and paste the formula from the student case handout into cell C12 in this worksheet. To paste the formula into this cell, you need to click in cell C12 and then click in the formula bar and paste the formula into the formula bar itself rather than the cell directly. In cell C13, type the formula as I have it displayed on the screen. It is also in the PDF notes for this video. We again need to get the arrow into our new formula. Click in cell C16. In the formula box, select the arrow and hit Command C. Next, click in cell C13. In the formula box, click just before the word "the" in the formula and hit Command V. Hit Enter. Here is the formula enlarged so you can see it better. It is also in the PDF for the notes for this video. That is another long formula. You can copy and paste the formula from the student case handout into cell C13 in this worksheet. To paste the formula into this cell, you need to click in cell C13 and then click in the formula bar and paste the formula into the formula bar itself rather than the cell directly. To copy the formula from cell C13 to cell C14, click in cell C13 and hit Command C. Next, click in cell C14 and hit Command V to paste the formula. Again, we are making a copy of the formula so that we can modify it for the next one. Working in the formula box, change the copied formula in cell C14 to lowest rather than highest. Change the max function to the min function. Change B7 to B6. Change C25 to C24. Change C36 to C35. And change B25 to B24 and B36 to B35. Here is the formula enlarged so you can see it better. It is also in the PDF notes to this video. That's another long formula. Again, you can copy and paste the formula from the student case handout into cell C14 in this worksheet. To paste the formula into this cell, you need to click in cell C14 and then click in the formula bar and paste the formula into the formula bar itself rather than the cell directly. The calculation distribution channel worksheet is complete. Click the different distribution channels on the slicer buttons to see how the data changes. We are now done with section 2 of this project. Please save your Excel file. You will be using the file for the next section of this project. This video was created by Dr. Wendy Tietz. Have a great day.